Now, Electricity Minister Kgosientsho Ramokgopa is visiting the Arnot power station in Mpumalanga today. Arnot has been operating at just over 50% capacity in recent years, and officials are expected to decommission at least 2 units by 2026. Our reporter Heidi Giokos is following this story for us, and she joins us now live from the Arnot power station. I must say, Heidi, I haven't seen any of the statements mentioning Arnot, especially for unplanned outages, etc. How is that particular power station performing at the moment?
Not the greatest, Maseko, and this is probably why the Minister of Electricity decided to start revisiting power stations after he embarked on this earlier this year, to visit a number of our power stations to understand the problems, to engage with the staff here. As you can imagine, that staff morale was very low given the very high stages of load shedding that we have been experiencing. And the Minister had indicated that there's been almost a 6% decline at this particular power station. They were over 50% capacity, and now they are, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's 46% capacity at the moment, which is not great. I mean, he gave an example to say that when you're in school, 46 to 48% is a decline, is rather a fail, and you need to be over 50%, even though 50% isn't the greatest percentage that you can have. So this power station has definitely seen a decline, and contributing to this seems to be boiler leaks, apparently. The Minister, interestingly, is deciding to come back here tomorrow after his visit to Duba Power Station. He will come back here for about 2 hours or so to engage with the staff after he was in a meeting with executives and management who have obviously raised some concerns that the Minister finds it necessary to come back to. This is all important and critical, Maseko, for the Minister to really get to the bottom of these issues. And he has highlighted and reiterated that he's not trying to replace the general manager or the CEO of Eskom. He is the minister, but he has a duty and a responsibility to try and engage with all issues on the ground if it's going to help us keep the lights on permanently, not temporarily like we've seen, some days on, some days off, lower stages, higher stages. So unfortunately, it's not the greatest news coming out of Arnot, as this power station has seen a decline in its capacity and performance, but it seems as though they know what the problems are and they're going to try and address them.
The first visit was really a diagnostic report, just to understand the nature of the problem, how it manifests itself at the station level, from one generation unit to the other. And on the back of that, I was able to generate a consolidated report presented to Cabinet on the necessary interventions, and some of which includes the delayed decommission of some of these power stations. Now we are back to do 2 things. First, to express our appreciation on behalf of Cabinet, the fact that the men and women of Eskom have made a considerable contribution to ensure that we come out of the winter period relatively unscathed compared to our projections of the worst case scenario. So we didn't experience the stage 8 plus that we had thought of as a result of the work that they've been putting in. But also to say we mustn't be complacent. We are not out of the woods yet. So it's important that at the station level, we must see that performance.
All right, Heidi, quite interesting to hear from the Minister there about this. And I find it interesting that you're saying he still has to go to Duba Power Station as well. It's also been mentioned as one of the power stations where I'm not sure where or how far in terms of the megawatts that it contributes to the grid when it comes to unplanned, outages, etc. But I wonder if you know what they mean, Heidi, by decommission. I think as South Africans now, we're more interested in all the jargon.
Yes, so what it basically means, Masako, is that the power station will no longer be in use. And we do know that, for example, Arnot Power Station, a number of its units are planned to be decommissioned, which means they will not be in use anymore in 2026. But the Minister has called for this to possibly be extended, which means they want to extend the lifespan and the capacity of this power station beyond 2026. The power station has a certain lifespan that it functions and operates, and at a specific time or year it needs to be decommissioned, so it basically needs to be put offline because of a number of issues. The power station is too old, it's worked to full capacity, but also there are environmental impacts that also contribute to the decommissioning of units and power stations. But there has been a call for the consideration of power stations to not be decommissioned as planned because of the energy crisis that we are facing. And a question that I did ask an energy expert yesterday on eNCA was, is it advisable to extend the lifespan of a power station? And we don't really have an option in this country, do we? Because as much as we're trying to get renewable energy onto the grid and to get solar, that is going to take some time. And if we can recommission some of our units and some of our power stations, we might do that just to stabilize the grid and to avoid a further energy crisis of stage 6, 7, 8 that we have had a taste of, myself, and hopefully will never taste again.